Yo, hey guys, it's Pop and Jacques Slade here. Back with another unboxing, and today I got something that just showed up in the mail. I was actually lucky enough to secure myself a pair over on the sneakers app during the early drop. Now, this is not something that usually happens for me. Like most of you guys, I usually miss out when it comes to sneakers, but for this pair, I was able to secure them. I don't know why, I don't know what changed, but I got lucky. I still haven't won anything in the draw, but I was able to get these. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. As you see, it comes in the regular Jordan 1 box. The Jordan 1 is super popular right now. For those that haven't been watching, you know The Last Dance is out, and there's a lot of talk and a lot of things going on about that. And then Aaron Goodwin, who is a sports agent, he actually tweeted out a pair of the Air Ships, the black and red pair that was actually banned by the NBA. He said there's only 2 pairs in the world, or at the time there was only 2 pairs, so we don't know where the other pair is right now. But anyway, so that was that. Anyway, get us back to here where we are now. Again, the regular Jordan 1 box, and let's take a look inside, and here we go. This is technically, let me get the technical colorway for these before we get into the name that everybody's calling them. Officially, it is the black, white, and game royal. People are calling these the game royal black toes. I'm not sure if I like that name, but you know, it is what it is. So let's take a closer look. As you see, it has the white on the midsole on the classic Air Jordan 1, the midsole, and then we have white here at the midsection. This is tumbled leather in here, it feels like, and then the rest of it is just like a more crinkled leather. It's not tumbled like the green pair, like the green pair that just released a little while ago, but this is like a soft, crinkled little bit of leather. Hold on, actually, this reminds me a little bit of the leather that's on these. This is the All-Star pair from a few years ago, and like as I look at the leather here, the leather feels very similar between these two. So if you got these from All-Star in New Orleans, then the leather you'll find here on the Game Royal is pretty similar. The touch of it, just the touch and the feel of it is pretty much the same. One thing that is different, these go with a more satin liner here on the inside, whereas with these, the New Orleans pair, you see that they have this sort of knitted print here on the inside. Padding wise, they are about the same. These feel a little bit thicker, but I imagine these feel this way is because I have literally beat them to death and I have worn them a ton of times. So it definitely feels a little thinner here as opposed to this one where you feels like a little thicker, some thicker material. Although this does feel a little more dense than this. This almost feels a little bit hollow when I touch it there. So if you've worn these, then these give you a good idea of what the leather is like on these. Now, one big difference between these two, this again has this sort of like crinkled leather. I don't want to say it's not exactly tumbled leather. It's not as tumbled, I guess, as you would say, but it's not as smooth either. So here, these definitely have like a smooth toe on them, and this, you can already see like the tumbledness of that, if that makes sense. Anyway, let me put these away. Let's get back to it. So here, actually, so here is the green pair, and you can clearly see the difference here. Just if you look at the toe, see how much more tumbled it is here, how much more tumbled it is at the toe, and the tumbled leather here and all of these sections. Now, this could be just because it's a different kind of leather, and then the leather shows differently because it's colored differently. So like this is a matte leather. These all have a gloss to them, and that's why the tumbled leather shows a little more. But like again, the tumbled leather here just has like these bigger gaps in it and bigger wrinkles in it than this does. This just looks really smooth. So let's get it back to these. But yeah, just that popped into my head just as soon as I unboxed them, so I figured I'd tell you guys, let you guys know about that right off the jump. Nylon tongue, which is always good when it comes to the Jordan 1. Sometimes they don't give us the nylon tongue. These have a leather tongue tag, which is always very, very nice. Sometimes, usually this is nylon as well, but to get the leather, that's generally when I feel like they're bringing it up a notch and upping the quality on it. And considering that they're raising the prices on these, having them up the quality is not really a bad deal. If you're gonna get better quality, if you're gonna get a higher price, you also want better quality, and I feel like that's what they're doing with these. Big, you know, when I think about the Air Jordan 1, you gotta give props to Peter Moore. He's the one who put the Air Jordan 1 together. A lot of people think it's Tinker Hatfield. They give everything to Tinker Hatfield, rightly so, because he's an amazing designer and he's done some amazing work with Jordan. But the Air Jordan 1, it's all the mind of the one and only Peter Moore. So again, jumped here, you see back, they have black leather here, they have black leather on the wings, and then they have the Game Royal, or did I say, was it Game Royal or Sport Royal? What was it again? Game Royal, sorry. They have the Game Royal here on the heel. You see it bleeds through a little there, and then the Game Royal right there at the toe, where you see a little bit more of the crinkled, sort of tumbled feel right there. Then for the lace stays, they go with the black leather all the way around, black Nike swoosh, and then the part that I really like is the outsole, where you see the Game Royal there on the outsole on that classic Jordan 1 look, which is always very, very nice. I love, like, when you go to the beach and you're wearing Jordan 1s and you got that walk in the sand and you see the imprint. That maybe that's just me as like a sneaker nerd that gets all into that, but that just really shines and pops to me. These come with black laces to start, and then you get a pair of Game Royal laces as an extra. Now, when I first saw these online, I'll be totally honest, I wasn't into these. I didn't necessarily like the way they looked right off the jump, and as I looked at them more, I figured the thing that it was is this Air Jordan logo. I like the mix of the black and white, and I think the mix of the blue, the black, and the white actually looks good on the shoe, but this just, it stands out too much. It's almost like a bit of an eyesore for me, and I would rather if this was in Game Royal or if this was just black and just blended in to the shoe. That's just my personal opinion. I think what I'm going to do is try to get some dye and color that in black, so that's just all black, or try and match the Game Royal. That's probably going to be harder to do, so I'll probably go with the black just to keep it safe, because I can get the black in there and get that dyed really quick. But one thing about these that a lot of people are talking about is they remind a lot of people of the Fragment Jordan 1s. So I've got my Fragments here, and I wanted to do just a quick comparison between these two. And gosh, they're so close. It's almost like they're reversed of each other. Just like they have some similarities, obviously. Both pairs obviously have black at the toe, which looks great. They flip the white for the Game Royal on these. These have white. That's a good mix there, and I'm not mad at that transition there. But then when you look at them from the side, you see like this section here, kind of, it's almost pretty much the same. I feel like, again, these are just like, this is like a reverse of this without obviously the Fragment logo. So you don't get the Fragment logo here, but for those that makes that big of a difference, you know, you're really not a fan of the Jordan 1. You're just going after the hype because this has the Fragment line on it versus these. So the one thing I do like about the Fragments, and I think it would totally change the look of the Fragments, is if this was in white like this is in white. I love that both of them are the version. So sometimes, you know, they do the raised version on the wings logo. Actually, hold on. The green pair that I just showed you guys actually has that. Here you see, this has the raised wings logo, which I have never really been a fan of, as opposed to the embedded or embossed version of the logo, which you have on both of these. I definitely prefer that to the raised one. So again, another reason some people were hating on this one is because of the raised logo. It's not a huge deal, especially because it's black and it's kind of subtle. But if it was white and raised, then I think that would be a bigger issue. But back to back to these. So again, I love that they both have the embossed logo there. For people that want to try and flip these and make these, this is kind of, I don't think it's worth trying to turn this shoe into a Fragment. I think this shoe has and survives all on its own. I think it's unique enough and it looks dope enough that you don't need to try and flip the blue or whatever and try and mix it up. I think if anything, just painting this black so that this is all black and just kind of blends in would be the better move. Or if you're brave enough to try and match it to the Game Royal, that's a whole different thing. One thing that I do notice, these were officially called Sport Royal with the Fragments, and then these are called Game Royal, but I honestly can't find a difference between the two colors. They are very, very similar. If you look at that, there, they look like they are identical colors. I don't see the difference there between these two. Another difference between these, kind of like the pair from New Orleans, is that they have the knitted liner here on these, and these are more like a satin smooth liner, so that's a difference there. As far as the height goes, for those that are super into like the height of the shoe, looks like the new pair is just a little bit higher, but I mean, it's negligible. I don't think many people will notice the difference there. Let me see from the back here, everything looks pretty similar, so it's really just the padding. Not a big difference. Most sneakerheads aren't going to notice that, or most people aren't going to notice that. And speaking of that leather tongue I was telling you about, as you can see here on the Fragments, they have the nylon tongue or the fabric tongue, whereas with this pair, again, they use the leather on the tongue to just give it that separate look. Now, the pricing difference between these two is astronomical. I believe these are going for about $3,000, between $2,000 and $3,000 online, and it may have gone up. That was just like the last time I checked. And these are actually going for $170. Not two, I was gonna say 200, but that's the price of Jordan Retros now. These are going for $170, so they've gone up by $10. I don't think these are going to have like a massive resale market. I don't think they're gonna go up like these went up, obviously, because these are Fragments. These are more of a GR release. They did an early release, which kind of tells me that they have a bunch of pairs of these, so I don't think people are gonna have a terribly hard time getting their hands on these. What I do think people should do, and I said this earlier in the video, is paint this black. This just feels like a bit of an eyesore to me, and I wish they would have made that black naturally, but I'll just dye mine to make it all fit in together, and I think that's going to look 100% better. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a quick look at these. I definitely like them. I'm really excited that I was able to get a pair, and when compared to the Fragment, now looking at that shot, like, honestly, I want you guys to tell me, looking at this shot, which pair do you prefer? Which pair looks better? Not that this is Fragment. Take that out of the equation. I don't want you guys to be like, I like the Fragment. Obviously, you like the Fragment. That's what hype does. But if you had to choose between these two, which one would you pick? Which one do you think you would get the most wear out of? Which one do you think will look dopest with your current clothing collection? This pair, the Fragment, or this pair, the Black Toe Game Royal? It's really interesting looking at these, seeing how Jordan Brand likes to flip the same colorway in a bunch of different ways, and they do this all the time with like the Chicago colorway, or the Band colorway, or the Black Toe colorway. They always do that, and to see them get new life out of these silhouettes just by making these small changes, it's kind of dope actually, especially since we continue to buy them. So if anything, it's a knock on us that we keep buying the same colorway just with different patterns in different places. So really, maybe that's our fault that we keep doing that. I don't know. Anyway, just wanted to give you guys a quick look. As always, I appreciate you. Make sure you like, favorite, and subscribe if that's something that you really want to do. But really, more important than anything else, I just want to make sure that you enjoy the content. I'm Jacques Slade. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.